Hello, folks. How you doing? Happy Tuesday. Sorry we couldn't be with you on Monday. Yeah, you're stuck with me again, I'm afraid. Lindsay's gallivanting and very busy, but you're stuck with me. And I was going to start dead on 9 o'clock, and I thought I can't because we're always late. So 4 or 5 minutes late is acceptable. Okay, so if there's anything that you want to talk about, ask me questions or anything like that, then do feel free to stick your questions in the comments. If not, we shall just. I've had a skip through the Phoenix page over the last 24, 48 hours, and there's a few things that I thought, oh, that'd be interesting, so we can do that as well. But if you've got any burning questions, then please ask. Okay. Okay, so let's get on with the hello, shall we? Now, Jade, you've been waiting around for 15 minutes. Hi, Jade. And I see you've just put a post up. So, yes, well done. We might even have a look at that. Vicki, I knew you wouldn't be far away. Good morning. Hi, Pia. Now, Pia, you've put up a very interesting post. Now, I definitely want to share that because that was awesome pictures. I know it looks a bit ugly at the beginning, but yes, healing isn't always pretty, but oh my God, so exciting. Hi, Therese. How you doing? I bet it's getting cold in Sweden. It's starting to get cold here. Hi, Melanie from the USA. Hi, Torn. Good evening from Wales. I haven't forgotten you. The message is still unread in my inbox. I've just been flat out. I trimmed 9 horses today, back home, looking after the horses, walking the dogs. I haven't even had time for a shower, but I did eat before coming live. So I haven't even got my gear on. Didn't want to let you down again. Hi, Vivian. I saw a post just before I came on. I had to be before 8:07. Hi, Connie. Here's Maggie. Hi, Maggie from Wales. Hi, Janet. Evening all. Jackie Berry. Hi, everyone. Sorry, I had to get in there. If I was nice, I could have waited to 8:07 on the dot, couldn't I? Maybe next time. Hi, Caroline. How you doing? Good to see you here. Hi, Heather from Yorkshire. And you're still on holiday? Oh, very nice. How's the weather? I guess. Well, my mum, lives in Salisbury in Wiltshire, and they have been having floods. So what's mid England like? Hi, Carol from Canberra. I'm assuming that's Australia. So good morning, if it is. I'm hoping for 8:05. I think I didn't see your message, Dawn. I'd be totally honest, and I think I went live at 8:04. So you're closest. Hi, Ingrid from Virginia. Hi, Aston from South Africa. No way, I can't believe it. Yes, we'll have a look, shall we? But I have to say, your trim is pretty good. But if you want it even better, I should go to the challenges. Hola! Hi, Jackie. Looking forward to seeing you in Scotland. Meeting face to face for the first time. Looking forward to it, lovely. Hi, Melanie from Norwich. How you doing? Hi, Lydia. Cool, rainy afternoon from Canada. Yeah, I've been getting wet today too. It's been sunshine and showers all day in France. Well, in my bit of France anyway. Hi, Alison. How you doing? Lovely to see you here. Oh, look, my thingies are working. Shall I show you? I should do a rave one. There's so many. Hi, Kate. How are you? You're a lovely person too. Thanks, Gary. Definitely want to talk before he sees the vet again next Wednesday, please. Okay, I will do my best. Well done, Vivian. Hi, Julie. Hi, David, on the other screen. Looking forward to seeing you in Scotland. I'm going to do a little bit, talk a little bit about that in a minute. Hi, Meta. And Libby. Good to see you the other day, Libby. And I've forgotten your pony's name. Begins with S, I'm sure. Little black guy. Did very well. Lovely trim. Well done. Okay, so nobody's asked any questions. So shall we just go through some of the posts on the Phoenix Way page? Let me just find it so I can share my screen. Share. Now look, top of the shop is Jade. My first trim on my friend's horse Diego. Whereabouts are you, Jade? I didn't look deep enough to see whereabouts in the world that you are. Not bad balance. I can't quite see here because of this little lump. I wonder if this heel's a little bit lower. But again, I'm being quite fussy. There could be perhaps a little bit more to come off in the quarters. Should we go through each image and just have a quick look? So that's a little bit blurry. There could be a little bit more of this bar. You see how it goes steep here. Now, it might be the way that the camera is, though. 2D images can be a little bit deceiving. Also, you can see this part of the hoof wall is a little bit thinner, and the outer hoof wall is closer to the waterline. This side could be the similar. There's just a little bit too much left there. So just for the roll. But again, like I said, if you haven't done the challenges already, which I'm not sure whether you have or not, doing the challenges will really help. Be careful not you're taking too much sole. This is a little bit gougy into the hard sole plane. So be careful with that. And I think you mentioned it in one of your comments that this bar needs a little bit of attention. Again, this one has got a little bit too much outer hoof wall there. But for a first trim, I don't want you to be disheartened. Now, this balance looks very nice. This balance looks very nice indeed. I don't want you to be disheartened because it's, oh, there we've done. It's a challenge on a first trim and very brave for you to actually share those pictures. So that's you should be proud of your first trim on your friend's horse. Oh, look, there's me and my silly avatar. Okay, so Julie kindly put this post up about everybody attending the Aberdeen workshop, which is in mid-October. I sent an email out for people to get onto the WhatsApp group. We set up a WhatsApp group for everybody that is attending on every workshop or Hoof Hero event that we do. But I don't like adding people via their phone number because some people may not have WhatsApp, some people may not want to share their number. So it's all done by email. So if you're on the Aberdeen workshop and you're booked on and you need to have and you want to be part of the group and share travel arrangements, it's nice to car share, especially as parking's limited, then please look at your emails, check your junk mail. It'd be from gary@schoolhmi.com. And we're going to Julie and David's place, Julie and David Bradbury, and this is part of their track. Really looking forward to having a good nosy. And thanks, David and Julie. What was the next one that I wanted to do? So Aaron found us by asking about the WhatsApp group. So he had to go searching for his emails. And this I wanted to show you, and I'm sure there's going to be more. Will Barnes, one of our students, has just got through his first year and is now able to take on clients. And he's down in the far southwest, but he's pretty much willing to go wherever he's needed, as all of our students are. Awesome. Well done, Will. Now, this is one that I wanted to talk about. In actual fact, shall I go and see if we've made any more comments in between before I start on peers? Oh, yes, it was Libby. It was Spray, wasn't it? Oh, let me stop sharing that a minute. I can always come back. So, Carol Colbert. Is it possible to have laminitis and to have caught it soon enough to not have any event lines? It depends on how soon that you catch it. There will be an event line, but very often, well, it doesn't show until maybe a month or two later. So if you think, oh my God, my horse has gone down with Lammy, it's been a bit footsore and a bit choppy for a day or two, and then it gets better, and you're only a week or two down the line, you won't see the event line yet. Not enough time has passed. But if it is laminitis or a stressor of some kind, yes, there is an event line. It may just be that it's more subtle than not. I hope that answers your question. Jackie, can I buy more legs for the workshop, or can I only have 3? Well, the way that the workshop runs, Jackie, you probably wouldn't want any more than 3. Because we do everything as a team and as a group. So it's all very structured. I suppose if you wanted to trim through your lunch break, or perhaps later on in the day, depending on the hosts, maybe we could do something. But to be quite honest, having 3, believe me, you'll be knackered. You'll be knackered. But good question. Good question. Marianne Wilson, hi all, so grateful for this group, these lives and all the information and support. You're very welcome. We enjoy doing it. And I have to say, we couldn't do it without the support of our HMB pros when they've got time to come onto the page, and our awesome admin group. Oh my goodness, we would have fallen flat on our face if it wasn't for them, I have to say. So big for our admins. Yes, brilliant. Couldn't do it without you. Natalie, Bavaria. Now, I have no idea where that is. Rach, do you know where Bavaria is? Bavaria, yes. Oh, is it Germany? Oh, my wife is much cleverer than I am. Somewhere around that area. I'll have to look. Rachel, look it up for me. I'm shouting orders at my wife. I shall get battered in a minute. Minnesota in the USA. Thanks, Jade. Hi, Angie.
Very much in Germany.
Thank you. You were right.
Was. I usually am.
Well, sometimes.
Usually. 99% of the time.
Great learning for everyone, Jade. Yes, it is. So pleased that Will is ready to see clients. This is good for the Southwest. Isn't it just? Isn't it just? And I have to say, his horsemanship skills are amazing too. So that's really exciting. Yes. Hi, Charlotte. So Jade, not disheartened at all. It was difficult. It was a difficult time with Diego. Thank you for the input. You're very welcome. Anything you can tell me about the two lines of the black by the white line, just separation fungus. Why the same on both feet? Well, you've got a bit of separation there. So that separation of the lamina is allowing things to get a little bit funky in there. But now he's trimmed, and of course we didn't see the before photos, so we can't do a comparison from before and after. But now he's down to a more natural level, so closer to the hard sole plane. That will start to wear away. What I would do is actually give it time. Give it time. It's just that separation is there, and the pathogens are getting in there and having a little bit of a party. So yeah, I wouldn't be too worried at this stage, but just keep an eye on it. Like I say, I didn't see the before photos, so how much needed to come off? Was he has he got rings? All we saw was the underside of the foot. We didn't see anything on the outside of the foot or the feet placed down. Oh, hi, Monica. How you doing? Love the fireworks. Now, I've got balloons as well, but I can't remember which hand gesture it is. So I might have a go later and we'll just play. But then I might get it wrong because there's some sad ones too. Good morning from sunny New Zealand. Hi, Joe. Great to have you here. Me too. I want that on my laptop. Now, I have no idea how I did it. It just happened. Another thing that I want to ask you as well, I was hoping that Lindsay might be here today as well, because I'm using a new webcam and a new microphone, and I want to know whether my sound is better or worse than it has been on previous shows. So if you could just say, sounds good or not quite so good, I don't mind either way. It's just feedback. Cheers. And Pia, I think it's to do with FaceTime using the camera, and it comes with reactions that you can put on it, and there's several reactions. So if I can put a thumbs up and it will give a thumbs up, and I can do a thumbs down and it will give a thumbs down, and there's others. But if you were in a business meeting on Zoom, I suggest that you switch them off, because sometimes if you get a little bit animated like me, it starts setting things off by accident. Ingrid, any info yet about the workshop in the US? Not yet. We are still, we know that we're definitely doing a workshop in South Carolina. But the others are still being, we have venues, we are still sorting out the legs. So once we get the legs that are sorted, then we will be, as soon as we've got confirmation for legs and venues, that's basically our sticking point, we will be advertising. But a little bit of our priority is for New Zealand and Australia, because we're going there first. So that's coming up rather sooner. So even though we're working on all of it, the New Zealand and the Australia ones are taking that little bit of a priority. But don't worry, we're coming. Don't worry, we're coming. Jade, perfect. You're very welcome. I'll post the befores after the live. Cool. And then I'm sure our team can have a look for you. Sound is better. Oh, that's interesting. Oh, that's good. Thank you. Oh, now we've got a bit of a conflict going on. Julie Bradbury says sound worse, I think. Okay. What I might do is as we get to the end, I shall do one and then the other and then see which is different. Sound is better than before. Interesting. Becky Bragg, sound is crisp. Thank you. I did wonder if I sounded like I was in a tin box. Sound much better. So the jury is, the majority are saying the sound is better, which is good because it's all off of one device, a webcam with a microphone attached. Sounds better and you look less red. That's probably because it's getting colder. Yes, I think you're probably right because it's a different camera. And I may have just played with the setting that makes me look just a little bit younger, maybe. Better sound, thanks, Therese. Sounds much better. Sounds better here. Thanks, Caroline. More like in a bucket. Okay, that might be just for you. I wonder if it's your speaker, Julie. Jackie thinks I might be in the loo. Now, my office is a little bit echoey, I have to say. Okay, so let's get now we've gone through, caught up on all the comments. Let's get back to the page and Pia's post. Here we go. This is what I found just now. Need to show you right away how one hoof right hind is ready to let go of compaction. Back of the frog is where she burst an abscess a while ago. Only one hoof, but we need to start somewhere. I feel like dancing. Isn't it lovely when you end up seeing an abscess? Because obviously they're a little bit sore and they're either a little bit sore or hopping lame. Some abscesses also can look as though they've got like a broken leg. And then sometime later, when you're trimming or when things start to exfoliate, things start to give. And this is a classic example of that. So dancing is good, Pia. Dancing is good. Edit. That old subsolar abscess. Thank you, wiser members. I didn't realise that. Too busy dancing around. I was very loose, and now it's gone. She has a brand new hard sole plane. Isn't that interesting? So let's have a little bit of a closer look, shall we? Now, I don't want people to go digging for these kind of things because that's not what happens. As the subsolar abscess bursts out the back, it leaves a certain amount of gap in the sole. So when I say gap, and it's all done inside, and where all that necrotic tissue or the necrotic tissue had started and that abscess was building and building and building, on a subsolar abscess, it can actually cover the whole of the sole or just part of it. And as the sole carries on growing, eventually that subsolar abscess, so where that blackness, where that pus was, it's almost been separated from the sole that's underneath that's growing it forward. So it's always growing, isn't it? And this can then all of a sudden come off. And when you first see it, you think, oh my God, the sole is falling off. and it can be black underneath. And then when you give it a little scrape with your knife or your hoof pick, it starts to look yellow underneath. And this sole here, because it hasn't been in contact with the ground, it can actually appear soft. But that's only because it hasn't got in contact with the air. So when the air gets in contact with this bit of the sole, give it 15 or 20 minutes, this will be as hard as the hard sole plane. Well, it's the new hard sole plane. And then all of this will start to come off. And if it comes off easy, with a little bit of nipper dragging, you can take it off. If not, leave it alone, because the horse will walk on it and it will end up exfoliating itself. Interesting, isn't it? Okay, so you can see a bit of sole lifting here. Not the clearest of pictures. And you can see how it's all lifting here. It's all lifting, and it's lifting under here. And also, it looks, Pia, now please correct me if I'm wrong, Pia, the abscess was also, it came out of underneath this bar. Can you see that gap there? So what will happen, and you're going to have to be a little bit careful, this bar may take this heel off. So when you're trimming, I'm assuming that you're trimming your own, Pia, you take the heels down to the hard sole plane as you would normally, but this may snap off, and then you may end up getting a temporary heel shifting forward. But it only comes off here when it's ready. You don't force it. But if you need some guidance on that, drop me a message. Now you see, Pia's actually taken a bit more of that sole where it was lifting, and now you've got hard sole plane underneath. Isn't that interesting? And very often what can happen is, and it hasn't happened here yet, and it doesn't look as though it's going to, what can happen is the abscess actually goes underneath the frog corium as well, and the frog all comes off with that bit of sole as well. So this is more caused by the subsolar abscess as opposed to compaction. There may have been a bit of compaction there as well, but this is more the subsolar abscess being in the past, and now that sole underneath has grown up, and now the old stuff is now being exfoliated. Oh, this is good. This is good. Oh, this is good. And I haven't even looked at these pictures properly, Pia. I just saw the post at the beginning. So this is all good. So what you've got now, you've got this hard sole plane that's showing, and now you've got the hoof wall that is way above the hard sole plane. So this can start to come down to the new hard sole plane. I'm sure whilst you're listening to me, I'm sure you've got a grin from ear to ear. It looks a bit horrendous, doesn't it? Because it's a bit of a shock, but this is part of healing. A bit like the long toes on laminitis, whether that be systemic laminitis or correcting incorrect hoof care. When that toe is growing out, it looks ugly. Healing is not always ugly. Healing is not always pretty. Sorry, I'm tired. Healing is not always pretty. When abscesses are burst and the lameness is gone, the foot is still growing, and it's got to get rid of all of that excess. So this is not necessarily pretty, but really exciting because it's healing. Great job. Brilliant. So you've got a bit of trimming to do, Pia. And then we're back to the beginning. So thanks, Pia, for sharing that. But like I said, this is something that happens, and it happens naturally. And usually when you go to trim, you can see that it's starting to give. And initially it can be a bit of a shock, but it's really exciting when you know what you're doing. Good job, Pia. I can't wait to see the finished trim. Now you shared that, you've got to keep going. Okay. So let's go and see if anybody's commented on that, because I did rabbit on for a good old 10 minutes. Oh, let me stop sharing. Sound is good. Oh, thanks, Megan. Yes, there's an echo. I wonder if why people are hearing it slightly differently. That's interesting. Like I said, when we get to the end, I'll do several options, and then we'll have a play because it'll help me. I found this post really interesting. So is that the one on the abscesses? Yes, I thought that was really well worth sharing. So thanks again, Pia. Hello all, late today, the horse and I were browsing on vine leaves now that the grapes are harvested. I've got grapevines climbing up our house and the grapes are just rubbish. They just don't seem to come to much. I think it's because they're too high up. They go up and over the windows and the front door. I think they're more ornamental, but they look lovely. They look great. Yes, it was yellow and very loose, came off easy. Yes, when it does, it really does, because there is that gap. But that gap has got to get close enough to the surface for it to be able to come off. And of course, the horse knows that it can't let it go, or the body knows that it can't let it go too soon, because that new sole underneath needs to be thick enough to keep that horse sound. And it'd be I'd be interested to if you thought that what was underneath was soft, because that softness is very temporary. As soon as it gets in contact with the air, it goes hard. It's almost like a chemical reaction. It's fascinating to see, fascinating. But then the hoof is when you follow Mother Nature's blueprint. Ingrid, pretty cool, Pia, isn't it cool? We don't always capture it. Often when we have subsolar abscesses, we've either not got a camera, we're in a muddy field, and it just doesn't happen that way. One of our students, he had the same thing, and compaction, subsolar abscess, and he nearly had a fit when he saw what was coming off. But then he trimmed and he said, oh my God, it's like a new foot. It's like the foot's being reborn. And what did you do with that abscess, Pia? Let it burst, let nature take its course, encourage movement. I'm pretty sure that's what you did. Pretty sure that's what you did. Now I'm being pestered by a dog. I'm being pawed. You have to go away, Gaston. I'm busy. New sole was yellow, I mean. Yes, yes. Gaston, go away. Look, this is my dog, and he says, Daddy, stop working. You need to be with me. No, you have to go away now. Good lad. Okay, where was I? Sorry. It all came down in the comments. I put a peck. Oh, did you? Oh, we'll go back and have a look. That's so interesting, isn't it? Abscesses are absolutely, they're a pain, don't get me wrong. But oh my God, the way that the hoof heals, and I'd be really interested, Pia, you know, where they look like a gap that was on that, as you looked at the picture, because I can't remember what, was it? It was a right foot, wasn't it? Anyway, on the picture on the left-hand side, it looked as though the bar had a gap in it too. And it looked as though the heel could potentially come off. Now, if that happens, I don't want you to freak out. But if it does, let me know and I'll talk you through it. Are vine leaves okay? We have a lot here. Because Jackie, now you're in Lanzarote, I think, aren't you? Lanzarote, yes, I'm sure. Carol, sound is a bit tiny and echo. Okay, so you're saying the same as Julie. Hi, Nikki. How you doing? Good to see you. I didn't do anything but feed her hay and let her move as she pleased. Yeah, that's the best thing for abscesses. And if you're struggling, for what Lindsay and I turned around and say is, if you're struggling to watch your horse with an abscess, don't watch and have your favourite tipple. It'll make you feel better. Mine's usually gin. And I had the same not so long ago, actually. My donkey, he was having another abscess, and he gets them occasionally, but he had some really, really funky feet when he arrived, and he's still healing. He's still healing. He's got quite a lot of scars from abscesses in his feet, but they're very short-lived, very short-lived. Are you looking to talk to me, Mrs. H?
Yes, grapevines, leaves, very high in tannins, so be careful.
All right, okay. Cool, thank you. Do you want to come on the telly? No, I didn't think you would. So apparently grapevines are very high in tannins, so you've got to be careful. But also tannins can be very medicinal too. Depends whether you need them or not. Okay, Caroline. That quick hardening of the new sole is like pole slippers. Yes. After they are blown, they go hard quickly as part of the sole. They do. Those pole slippers, we did that. Somebody shared, didn't they? I'm sure I've got some photos somewhere, but I bet I can't get them as quick as Lindsay does. Pole slippers are amazing, but they're gone within sort of like 15, 20 minutes. They just go, they just disappear. And they're there to stop or provide protection when the foal is moving around inside the womb. Otherwise, the mum would be ripped to pieces. That wouldn't be good, would it? Another thing, Mother Nature. Brilliant. Oh, dogs are the best. Dogs, horses, better the same, better the same. Just so different. I've got 5 dogs here at the minute. I've got 4 of my own, and my sister's dog is on a 3.5-week holiday. So my sister and her family could go on a family break. Leah Melling, morning all. We'll have to go back and watch that first bit. Super interesting. Yeah, sorry, Leah. I was actually running on time for once. Wow, 4 minutes late. So yes, you can go back and watch. As soon as it's about 10 minutes after I stop, it should be available to watch again. Thereabouts, 10 minutes or so. Piers afterpick is under my comment at the 2nd or 3rd hoof picture. Oh, right, okay. Should we go and have a look then and have a look at the after picture? Let's see if I can find it. So you reckon it's in comments. So I'm just going to go into the comments here. I'm just going to zoom through and see if the picture's there. Unless it's attached to a picture. Right, let's have a look. I think it's in here. There we go. Okay, let's see if I can bring that up then. That's good. I know we got a bit of separation around here, but that will sort itself out. And look how nice and fresh that sole looks. Really good job here. Not quite sure what went on here. It's a little bit scratchy, but that might be the old stuff that's still holding on. So don't worry about that. That I'm sure that'll exfoliate. And I'm pretty sure that I can't see that gap under this bar. Perhaps that's already come out. Perhaps that's already come out. Let's have a look at, is there a next one? Let me come back out again. And let's have a look here. Okay, so we've got a little gap here. So I'm wondering whether this heel is going to be a little bit compromised, but it's in early days. This is perhaps, if it's going to happen, this will have to grow a little bit more. It will get pushed forward. And not like your other picture. When in here, there looks like there was a bit of a gap. You may even hear it when you run a rasp across this heel. You might hear it slightly hollow. But it's not ready to come off yet. Absolutely not. That could be in a month or two's time. Oh no, I've got that wrong. So that was Vivian's pictures. So okay. Okay, so now I'm getting a bit confused. Okay. So now this is Pia's. Okay, sorry about that. But Vivian, still doing grand. And that new soul, excellent job. My comments stay the same. So this one's Pia's. Ah, now that's interesting, isn't it? So this bit here, you can see where all that black is, that abscess actually went round and took some of that bar off as well. Now you can see here, the heel is not as strong as it once was, but it's landing here right now, which is absolutely fine. As it grows, this will start to come back. Maybe a little bit more to trim off here, just that external hoof wall here, and then leave the toe alone, which I'm sure you know about already. But isn't that interesting how that all of that sole pretty much exfoliated all by itself? Great job, great job. Superb. Okay. So what we're going to look at now. Deborah Norris was talking about, I think these are Dartmoors. And she was she also put a post up about the long toes, which I thought was a lovely post actually. Basically, when people say that horses don't have long toes, that they do, but they can look after themselves as long as they're getting lots of movement and they don't tip forward. So that's the point of that post. So thanks for sharing that, Deborah. So Jolene, and I can't remember, I read so many. So let's have a look at this one, shall we? So I have a herd of 12. Let's bring that forward so you can all see it. So Jolene has a herd of 12 and have really only shared my laminitic horse's progress. I am learning from all of my horses with every trim. I have been trimming the gelding for over 2 years now. He has fantastic hooves that have always been an easy, straightforward trim. I've never suspected him to have thrush, laminitis, not even an abscess. I trimmed him 2 days ago, and then today I stopped and actually focused on the growth rings. Yeah, growth rings, event lines, same thing. This summer was the first I've kept hay out at all times rather than my horses relying on grass and foraging. I did this more so for my laminitics, and I took on last year. Yet Yet I'm just now realizing how beneficial it has all been for all of my horses, even the seemingly healthy ones. The last of the rings, I suspect, were from the spring grass. When I was starting to cover and smother the grass with the round bales, if I've done it right, next year the pasture will have significantly less grass available and the herd will be even healthier after all, overall. Very thankful for the knowledge from this group and the HMT. You're very welcome. I didn't originally learn to trim mine here, but I've definitely gained so much more knowledge and experience since this group has existed. Great job. Well done. Well, they're not bad looking feet, are they? Not bad at all. And can you see how there's less rings at the top of the hoof than there is down the bottom? So all of this is history that's growing out, and it's much better connected, much less events in the hoof. Is it just the 2 pictures? I can't remember. Yes, I think it was. So thanks for sharing that, Jolene. That's really awesome. And it is, like we've always said, when you've got a herd, you end up, you have your yellow canary, so your most sensitive horse. What keeps him or her healthy will just by default do the same for all of the others. And that's basically what you've just shown there. That even though this horse was coping much better, there were these little inflammatory episodes that really didn't bother him that much, or did it? But it wasn't significant enough for us to necessarily make any changes. So thank you very much for sharing that. What was Nikki? Anyone paying attention to the longest length of your horse's hoof while growing out founder? We tend not to measure it. We tend to measure the healing angle. The healing angle is more important than the length of the toe. The healing angle shows us that we've got things right. Now, it will all depend on how long the toe gets, depending on the severity of the systemic laminitis, or how high the heels were if it was humanitis, because the trim was incorrect or the hoof care was incorrect. So it will depend on every horse will be different. So it is interesting, but I think it would be an interesting thing to see how long the toes did get in different cases, for sure. But that's almost focusing on the negative. I think it would be very interesting as a study, but I think that's focusing on the negative. But when we look at the healing angle coming in, it's exactly what it says on the 10. It is the healing angle, and that's what we should be focusing on. As long as that healing angle stays in play and grows down and that long toe grows out, that's the important thing. Not how long it gets, it's the healing angle. Oh, wow. Let's go back to questions and see if we've got anybody else. Okay. Thank you, Rachel. They spray them a lot, so I've always worried about them. Oh, I see. Yes, so yeah, you don't really want anything that has been sprayed with pesticides, insecticides, or anything like that. No, that wouldn't be good. Tannins, isn't that in acorns as well? Yes, it is. And what else? Ragwort as well is very rich in tannins too. The track is flooded with acorns right now. I hope she isn't eating them because she has done it before with bad reactions. So my question then, Angie, is when she ate the acorns and had bad reactions, was she on a free access to hay diet? I suspect not. The only the only times that I've heard of animals poisoning themselves or overdoing it with acorns is when they haven't had sufficient fibrous forage available to them. So good mixed species hay. Because acorns have a calorific value. If the horse feels hungry, they will eat them and sod the consequences because they're hungry. So that would be an interesting thing to ponder over due to the past. I've got oaks on my track, and there is loads of acorns that fall. And some of my horses eat a few, and some of them don't. So I don't have a particular issue with that. It's interesting, isn't it? What can be the reasons to abscess? Well, there's a lot of reasons. Incorrect hoof care. A lot of horses, when we take the shoes off, they have effectively, the hoof is being clamped. There is small amounts of necrotic tissue in there, and when the shoe comes off and the hoof can actually start to function more naturally, it could be part of the healing process. So it's a build-up of necrotic tissue, and it can continue. Incorrect hoof care, so pedal bone being in the wrong place, and tissues dying is what causes abscesses. Very rarely blunt force trauma. If they end up at speed landing on something, that can cause necrotic tissue inside. But the gold standard, I have to say, for, let me stop sharing that. The gold standard for abscesses is the bars being left too long, folding over, and you end up having a bar abscess. And then the pathogens can get in underneath that bar because it's folded over, and have a wee bit of a party, and it just starts eating away and eating away, and you can't see it. If those bars are folded over, it actually looks like it's actually become part of the sole, and to the untrained eye, that the bars just look like they're a little bit closer to the heels. Yeah. So when you're looking at those bars, you want to be able to see the water line and the white line of the bar. Then you know that your bars are down to the hard sole plane and they're not folding over. So what's Melanie got to say? Gary, could you go over what one would do if you had a horse where the previous farrier had dug a lot out of the sole? Okay. So the foot was more of a bowl shaped. Okay. So when the hoof care professional dug out a lot of sole, was he doing that because of an abscess? Because we've talked a lot about abscesses this evening, or was it to shape the sole and get more concavity? We need to decide what we're doing this for. So yeah, drop another note. Yes, I realised that in the end, Viviane. I'm a bit stupid. I should have seen who actually posted the pictures. We got there in the end. I tried to shout at him. I don't know what that means. Is that telling me that it's the wrong pictures? Sorry. You're shouting at the telly. My picture again. Yes, we got there in the end. We got there in the end. Thank you. Cool to be in the telly. Telly or telly box, yeah. Interesting about the acorns, yes. Now, if you think, now this is a little bit of a safety thing, that if you think that your horse is suffering from an overdose of tannins, you can offer them things that are rich in saponins, because saponins neutralize tannins. And the best way of doing that is with calendula, which is marigolds. And you can get, now it used to be a macerated oil, but there's a different extract of oil now, which is much stronger. So if you've got acorns or ragwort or anything that's rich in tannins, and you think, I'm not sure, you can offer them this extract of calendula or marigold, and that will help neutralize the tannins if they've perhaps had an overdose. She was not at the time on free access to hay. I'm making sure that they never run out of hay right now. So isn't that interesting? Like I say, the zoo pharmacognosy side of me has never heard of a healthy animal overdosing on acorns when they've got free access to forage, which I think is really interesting. And like I said before, acorns, they're a type of nut. They're very calorific. They've got lots of fat in them. So if they're hungry, why wouldn't they eat them? So yes, but like I said before, saponins neutralize tannins. So it's a good something to keep on the shelf just in case, You probably never need it now that they're on a good quality mixed meadow hay. So that's great. Thank you for clarifying, Angie. That's awesome. Okay, since I haven't been able to walk my boy on the road, etc., he obviously needs trimming more. But what I have noticed is that he now has separation, but only in his front feet. His diet and management is the same. If anything, he has now having even more hay and less grass. Okay, obviously needs more trimming, but what I've noticed is that he has separation. Okay, maybe I need to see pictures. Is the separation more, or was the pictures or what you saw before, there was separation, but it was covered by the sole? Sometimes when the foot has got separation, the sole migrates to cover that separation. Now, we wouldn't necessarily take that off, but it can cover it. So you can see that if your horse's foot shape has stayed the same and the toe hasn't elongated, that separation was always there, but it was covered by sole material. So it may not be that he's developed more separation, it's just that you can see it more clearly. So we'd have to look. Melanie, looks as though they made it that way on purpose, but had mentioned doing it to avoid abscesses. Okay, now some horses, now was he carving the hard sole plain, or was he getting rid of flaky sole? So that's another question, because if the sole was chalky and flaky and it was just coming off really quite easily, then he found the hard sole plain. That's perfectly normal. But if he was carving into that really hard waxy surface, then that would be thinning the sole, and would not be advisable. Is it true that the tannins in acorns can help with southworming? Yes, it can. Tannins are a way of, neutralizing parasites. Yes, so it is a natural way of worming. You know, when I'm going to go a little bit off-piste with regards to tannins and saponins. You know, when we see on wildlife programs that you see the macaws in the Amazon, and they go off and they eat loads and loads of different berries and nuts and all of that. And then usually once a day they go to the clay licks, and then they actually eat, get it into their digestive system, the clay, because it's the clay that neutralizes the toxins in the fruit that they've been eating to get energy, and one cancels out the other. Same with tannins and saponins, very similar, very similar. Interesting about the hay access. My 2 ponies aren't really eating the leaves right now, and they have hay 24/7. Paul always has me a bit worried about the various leaves, perhaps not so much this year. Again, as long as they're healthy, and they've got free access to good quality hay and they're not hungry, I would say that for the majority of plants, trees, bushes that are out there, it's not too much to worry about. The only one that I do get concerned about is the tree that they can get. Sycamore. Thank you, Rach. She knew I was struggling with my random access memory needs upgrading. And there's a condition called atypical myopathy. I think I said that right. And that can be deadly for horses. So yes, be careful of the sycamore. And it's the seeds, you know, the ones that have got 2 seeds that join together and they're like propellers, and they drop and they swivel down. And it's the saplings that are toxic, but not in every area. So some areas are way less toxic than others, and we have no idea why it's effective in more areas than one. The only sensible idea that's come up so far is because of global warming. The planet is warming up at such a rate that the horses and animals, other foragers, haven't evolved to know that this particular plant at this stage of its life is detrimental to them. So yeah, interesting, eh? Nothing else has come up close that would come up with a sensible solution for that. Now, you can, in the UK, I know you can have sycamore seeds tested, and they come back and they tell you whether it is highly toxic or just normal. And if it's just normal, it's fine. But I believe it can change year on year. So Jackie's saying, I've just started offering free choice herbs and now loves marigolds, nettles, cleavers, and dandelion. Yes, they're very popular. Yeah, very much so. But then they have, when I said about the marigolds, so calendula, they have other healing properties too. And most other plants do too. They can do a multitude of things. Nettle, cleavers, dandelion, yeah, all good, all good. And let's face it, readily available. Man, it looks as though it's been dug out past the hard soil plane. Now, if it's gone past the hard soil plane, it's thinning the soul. So that's not something that we would advocate for sure. The hard soil plane is there for a reason. There are a number of hoof care professionals out there that feel that carving the sole out to create concavity is a good thing. It's rubbish. How can thinning the sole create strength? It's a misnomer. with the amount of cadavers that we go through and on our workshops and our training camps, we often notch them and store through them, and you get to see the varying degrees of thickness depending on the hoof health, the breed. It is all different. So that hard sole plane is really important, that we don't go past that. Really important. It's really important for the horse. Dawn says, thanks. Just another thing to add to his problems. I will get some pictures before and pictures now. That'd be great. Jackie was shouting at the telly saying Sycamore rage. She's laughing. I don't know whether you can hear her. Not readily available here. I have to buy them in big bags. That's a shame. That's a shame. But yes, there's a dried herb. Herbs, that's good. Or in oil, so you can get marigolds in an oil. Nettles, not so much. What else did you say? Cleavers, not so much. That's better as a herb. And dandelion's better than that as a herb too. And the last comment, and then I'm going to say cheerio, because I'm going to start coughing in a minute because I talk so much. Carol, my girls at the moment are eating the fresh growing milk thistle. Milk thistle's brilliant. It's a good cleanser, and always thought it had to be wilted for them to eat. Oh God, no. If we've got milk thistle here, we actually, because I'd like to say that we're keen gardeners. We'd like to be keen gardeners, but get no time. So when the thistles grow up, we actually pull them just before they flower, and we chuck them in the horse field. And my big mare, she knows when they're turning up. And that's the only time that she actually gets really quite arsey with the other horses because she loves milk thistle so much. So yes, that's all good. Right, thank you very much for joining me. That hour and 7 minutes has just gone like I don't know what. Thanks for joining. Just to say again, like I said at the beginning, for those people that are on the Aberdeen workshop, if you haven't joined the WhatsApp group yet, check your emails. There's a link there for you to join, and there's lots of chat going on in there. Every time I look at my phone, there's another about 20 comments going on, which is awesome. Everybody's getting really excited for our last workshop of the year. So thanks for joining me. I'm not sure whether Lindsay's able to join tomorrow or not. Hopefully I'll see you tomorrow. If not, it'll be Thursday. Okay? Take care. Thanks for joining. Be good. Take care. Bye-bye.